Stir fry for the win.
Ooh. Sweet and sour, too.
Did I hear stir fry for the win?
Yeah, you did.
Well, we're back again, and we're gonna make a monster tonight. Jim, you had a long rest monster. Is that right?
Yeah. What if you have some monster that, when it's around, it will get into the collective's dreams, and as a party, you have to fight this thing. It puts you like in a dream state. And if you die in it in your dream, you don't get your 50% back.
Holy shit, that's awesome. That's great. I can't think of any other creature that does something like that.
Yeah, it's like you have to come out of your dream alive in order to get your 50% back. If you don't, if you are unconscious or dead by the end of the dream, you got to use more resources to get more health back.
It prevents you from getting a long rest for the next 16 hours until your next one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would it be you don't get your long rest at all? So you don't get your spell slosh, you don't get anything else?
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be a cool idea. It would be nice for a DM to be able to throw in when it was needed. You know what I mean? Like when the next day you wanted them to be stressing out about what's going to happen. It's a great tool as well as a cool monster. It's kind of like you become a dream warrior. Maybe tonight they'll be gone. That's the first thing that comes to my mind is the whole Freddy Krueger Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, do you have to be asleep or awake? Does it matter? Is it a spell effect that causes you to go into this state?
I would think so. I think it'd be a spell effect that it casts and it puts everybody in a dream state.
Yeah, and maybe if you're unconscious, you have disadvantage. So that the unconscious players are pretty much a lock or a better chance of getting them into this dream state. Because you want the whole party in, because if you can't get the whole party, well, I guess this creature could be something that lurks outside in the darkness. You know what I mean? It's concentrating on this spell, keeping all these party members in its dreamlike state. The ones that saved have to find this creature on the outside to be able to defeat it from the outside. Otherwise, those who have been brought into this dream state have the opportunity to reduce it to 0 hit points, be released from it, but maybe it doesn't kill the creature on the outside, only the dream version of it.
Okay, so I guess we would probably want to make it so it has guess you'd have to roll a Constitution saving throw.
I think that's the most likely. Yeah,
I would make it. You would almost have to get like a roll of 19 or 20 to get out.
Will not be invaded.
Yeah, or maybe a natural 20 has to basically just have to roll a natural 20. Well, but then if you're not brought into it, then what can you do? Can you try to get your party out of that dream state?
How would you figure out that? Because you wouldn't realize. I mean,
or they just stand around, and maybe if they're like, if you're the only one that isn't in the dream,
you wouldn't know.
Well, the problem is you can't wake up your party for them to do their watch. Are you just going to go to sleep and with nobody on watch?
Right.
Are you going to stay up and not get your rest because you can't wake anybody up?
Or maybe you can wake people up, and then that's how you'll be like, I was having a terrible nightmare. You have an idea of like something was wrong.
Yeah, when they go for their rest, they got to do another Constitution saving throw, or they're dragged into the dream. Or is it just an automatic thing where everybody just gets taken in?
I think if you're unconscious, you're taken in. But if there's party members that are on watch, there should be a saving throw.
So if you're not on watch and you're resting, then you're taken into it?
Yeah, if you are unconscious, you are taken into the dream. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. This creature has the power, whether it be through pheromones or some kind of gas it releases or something, pulls you into the dream state. However, those outside who are keeping watch would have a saving throw, a Constitution saving throw. If they save, they're unaware of what's going on until they attempt to wake up the rest of the party and to discover something's going on. If they don't save, then they enter the dream state as well. Does that work?
Yeah, I like it. And I would think that you would just right off the bat at the first watch, that's when it hits.
Nobody has the opportunity to rest at all at that point. Everybody's just kind of tucking themselves in. They've just had a nice big stew over the fire. They're ready for some sleep after a long day of battle. It creeps in. Now, what does this creature look like? I feel like the physical form of this creature should be very weak. It shouldn't be too tough, but this ability is so strong, it's what makes it powerful.
It'd be like a strange little plant or a mushroom type of thing. Just moves very slowly.
Something you wouldn't notice, yeah. Something that would be like in your encampment, especially if you're outdoors. Maybe even like a moist cellar or something like that. You see mushrooms growing through. I like the mushroom idea. There's something about that really appeals to me. Yeah.
Mychonids.
Then I guess in the dreams world, that's a whole different story.
Well, just like regular mushrooms can release their spores, and it spreads through the air, and that's how they, move and grow and so on and so forth. Maybe that's how the spell works as well. It just releases.
Oh, how about there's multiples? And so each one goes to each player and bursts out these spores. And then in the dream, you've got that many creatures in the dream you've got to defeat.
My only thought is, do they work together? Do these individual creatures create the same dreamscape that they're all in? Or is it this? Okay. Yeah, I dig that.
I think it'll be a collective dream state.
Maybe it's like a patch of mushrooms that come up or something like that. Because mushrooms are pretty fast growing. Like they're.
Oh, yeah. They just pop up overnight. Ooh, like a fairy ring. Maybe just before the end of the first watch. I mean, these things have popped up in a fairy ring.
That would give the people on watch an opportunity to do a perception check, or you could even use their passive perception to see if they even notice these mushrooms suddenly just sprouting up from the ground. Yeah, maybe if they're not in that ring, if they pass a perception check, they look back and they see this fairy ring is formed around their party. Yeah. Now, how sentient are these creatures? Are they intelligent? Can they speak? Do they, if you are aware of them, could you just stomp the hell out of them? Or is there going to be like a situation where they pop out of the ground and there's 20 of these tiny little mushrooms running around, biting at your ankles, throwing darts at you, blowguns maybe? I don't know. Well, maybe once they've released their spores, they don't need to be there physically. I mean, if they get squished, no big deal. They've already released their spores and put everybody in that dream. Maybe it's the Fae that's doing it.
They spawn or something. Somehow this is what they do.
Although I kind of like the idea of those little mushrooms with little tiny arrows. I do kind of like that idea too. Like little spears. I'm on the way. Either way, you guys decide. Like I like it either way. Oh, maybe those that are still awake, they got to fight them. Yeah, these things are shooting like spears and arrows at them. And if they get hit, they got to do Constitution saving throw, or they're dragged into the dream. Each round, he's being attacked by these little things, and if he gets it's not like these things are going to kill him. But like if let's say there's 6 or 7 of them, each round, if you're the only one on watch, you're going to be attacked by 7 different little mushrooms, and be doing all these Constitution saving throws. I guess we have to determine the difficulty class before we can decide, because we don't know if we're throwing this at a party of first level players or 20th level players at this point. You could scale it. Yeah, you could. Maybe make it hard for high dexterity, so they're hard to squish. Yeah. Hit. I feel like they should be able to bounce around really quickly and scurry out of the way. I feel like it should be almost a comical scene for the players who are on watch, who are still awake. The other players, they can't wake them up because they're stuck in this dreamlike state, and they're like, what the hell is going on? These little mushrooms are shooting us with blowguns and arrows and darts. Because, if there's 7 of them that create this ring, or 8, however many you're going to go with, all it takes is one good stomp to get them. But you're only going to be able to give one at a time. So that's a good 7-8 rounds before you've gotten them all. Mm-hmm. And by then, you may end up in that dream state with the rest of the party. So that way, you don't have to worry about scaling the mushrooms, because one stomp and that's it. They're done. They have very small hit points, but they have a high dexterity, so it's hard to stomp them. Yeah. I feel like these creatures are going to be a CR rating of 7 to 10 somewhere. Yeah. We'll leave it open for now, but that is such a brilliant idea. I don't know why there's never been a creature like this that I know of. I mean, if I'm wrong, let us know in the comments below, but this is a cool creature.
Yeah.
Do we have a name for it? I mean, it's got to be a play on words with mycelium,
Shroom.
mushroom.
Nightmare was a shroom-mare.
Amanita. There's 2 poisonous mushrooms in Virginia.
I'm gonna need a doctor.
I'm going to need a doctor if I eat this mushroom.
Well, maybe something like a nightshade, but night spores, night shroom.
I'm a fun guy with high morals. Fox, bear, fox, dog, cat, lion, whatever. Robot. What's their armor class then? Let's say, what is their dexterity? Let's say their dex is real high. Let's say they're ridiculous.
It's at 20.
I say so too. Yeah, I was going to say 20. So that gives them a 15 AC, but I feel like they need another bonus. I feel like they need maybe a 17 AC.
Oh, well, no, if you do that, I mean, can one good stomp take care of it?
Yeah, one good stomp's going to kill them, but it's going to be hard to stomp them, I think. I'd say.
Oh, yeah. And it's going to be hard to hit it with a sword, too. They're low to the ground. You got to, chop it away at the ground.
They've got to be a lower CR. I think they're like a CR 8. Because if we want their armor classes to be like 25 or something like that, you know what I mean? That's hard for a hard party. But if they have a 15 to 17 armor class, 8th level characters, 10th level, they should be able to handle these creatures after at least 5 to 6 rounds, I would think, depending on who's awake and who gets put into the dream state. Now, we haven't talked about the dream state. What if the whole party is in the dream state? The only way out is to defeat what? Because I feel like on the other side, that's when their strength really shines through. We've got you in our world, motherfucker. Now we're going to destroy you.
I almost see these cloaked characters. Have you seen Agatha all along?
Yeah.
Those hooded creatures that go down the street. I almost kind of picture something like that.
Okay. All right.
But what's in the cloak?
What if it's kind of like almost a Last of Us look, like the fungi, the creatures that infect humans? Maybe these are infected, humanoid creatures that they have to fight on the inside.
How about woodland creatures?
Fox, bear, whatever it is, they're just been infected by, or they look like, they're not like their normal selves. They've got to look a little bit like they've been infected with something, or mushrooms are growing out of them, or, something like that.
If you did that, then you could use the stats for that animal.
So what's happening while they're in this dream state on the outside? Are these mushrooms benefiting somehow? What if they defeat the creatures on the inside of the dream, they wake up, maybe based on the amount of time they've been in this dream state, these mushrooms have grown and they're not little anymore?
Maybe they're just like brownies. They just like to fuck with people.
Okay, yeah, okay, I can get behind that. Yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, their only goal is to make sure that people have a bad night's sleep.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're not trying to kill anybody. They just want you to have a shitty night.
Tricksters.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw a crazy idea out there. See what you think about this. What if there's a satyr and he's hopping around through the forest with this basket of spores and he sees parties of people sleeping. He's like, oh, fuck them. They ain't sleeping tonight. He drops the spores and that's what brings them up.
That works.
Yeah, I don't know.
And whoever's on guard, I mean, do they got to do a pass a perception check or see if they notice him sneaking around in the woods? And
yeah, I think that would be made a nice way for them to have an opportunity to know that something's coming their way. Those who are awake, and if they take the opportunity to wake everybody up at that point, it just is just a satyr that talks his way out of it or whatever. Hey guys, how you doing tonight? Mm-hmm. Can I interest you in some mushrooms? Maybe he talks them into him at that point. They're all awake. I have a great mushroom stew I'd like you to try. One way or another, this satyr is out to fuck with you, whether he drops the spores while you're sleeping or he gives you a nice meal and, gets you into this dream state. What if it all funnels back to that?
And then when he leaves and everybody goes to sleep while the first watch is on, and an hour or two later, they start growing and put everybody in a dream state.
And the satyr's name is Fabio.
Oh, yes. He's back. Demigod now.
Yeah, Artie once played. We were playing an evil campaign. I think Was I running that? I think I was, and Mike and Dave and maybe Moby or someone or Jacob or someone were playing in it.
I think Jacob was in there. He was a mute.
Yeah, fucking
Mike,
asshole.
I remember Mike getting mad at him, trying to pantomime what he wanted to do. That was fun. I was a total madman in that.
What was the item you had? It was a decanter of water. And,
Yeah.
and I feel like you guys drowned like a small village of people just with that or something like that.
Tons of chaos with that.
You know, getting back to that Seder, that could be kind of fun every time the party takes a long rest. Like if he's still trying to go in without being seen, he sneaks in, and every night these mushrooms grow. And then maybe who's ever on watch, every now and then they may spot this Seder. Mm-hmm. If they chase him, Seder gets away. That they realize that the Seder is dropping these damn spores around and making everybody have a shitty rest.
Maybe he's known for following people. When he finds a party that he feels like he could take advantage of and ruin their night, like that's what he does. He just follows them until they disperse of him or send him on his way or something like that.
Yeah, maybe he has a riddle or something, or figures out, if you figure something about him, like an old classic fairy tale type of.
Yeah, I like that. Could we incorporate the riddle into the dream somehow instead of having to do just battle with creatures? Maybe there's a way to get yourself out of it. You know what I mean? Whether it be after you've defeated all these creatures or not, there still is a riddle or something that has to be solved before you can awaken again or something. I don't know.
What if we make it kind of optional?
Nice. Those melons look awesome. Oh, Macaw.
A lot of melons.
That's a lot of melons.
Yeah, but what about if we have options of ways to bring them in? We have the Seder idea, following a party as they travel. Or maybe you have a region where you're in this forest or this glade or somewhere. And as you're traveling through it every night, these mushrooms are going to create a fairy ring around you. And some, you may be in the woods and they're just a bunch of mischievous little mushrooms that are just mischievous as hell.
Yeah, I think the option should be available. So there should be almost like two versions of it. The version that you encounter wild, the other version, which is the Seder that kind of drops them from baskets. Because
they can appear either way. As long as the environment is perfect for spores, or if somebody lays out the spores.
And it should be, it would be kind of neat if it was regional. Obviously, that makes it hard to throw them into any campaign, but you could, as a DM, just select certain regions that the party is traveling in, and slap them in there. It's a great creature. It's great idea, Jim.
Okay, so we have these mushrooms, and anybody that's awake is going to have to fight them, or else every round we have to do Constitution saving. Now, do we make it fun and they all have these little spears, or do they just spit out spores at you?
I'm on the fence because the idea of waking up and looking around and just seeing mushrooms, you wouldn't really think of anything. But if you saw mushrooms that were, aggressive, I don't know. There's a big part
maybe
of me.
Maybe they got blowguns and they shoot
in my
the
mind,
spores at you through that.
Have you ever watched, Moana?
I saw parts of it because we're at my daughter's, and
there are these creatures, these little coconut creatures that, their masks are coconut, and they do the blowguns and darts. And this is what I'm thinking of when I'm thinking of the mushrooms. Same kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they can either have spears, bow and arrows, or spear gun or blowguns.
Yeah, very primitive weapons, but ranged weapons, because they're never going to engage probably with you, toe to toe. They're going to be running around, shooting the little blow darts at you, trying to get away.
Very fast and dexterous.
And really, there's no sad part of it, because when they die, they just poof into more spores and go back out into the forest.
Well, when you stomp them or kill them, you have to do a Constitution saving throw, because they do burst out in spores.
And they, could bring you right back into the dream state again, allowing them to grow up.
It's like you've got to do that. Maybe a dex save to get away from the spore farm.
A death save.
Yeah.
Well, kind of like the Dragonborn. When you kill them, they fucking explode.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Draconians.
Okay, so that's our little mushroom.
Yeah. The idea of this creature is just so cool, where it can appear out of nowhere and when you're in an encampment, or this satyr could hop along through the forest. Maybe he's playing a little song on his flute, distracting those people awake, and he hops into your encampment and drops these spores, and before you know it, you're stuck in this dreamlike state. Now, can you die in the dreamlike state, or should this just be a scenario where you wake up
I don't think you physically died, but you dream that you died.
and you get no rest from it?
Yeah, and so with that, if you die in that dream, you no rest.
Yeah, I like that, because then it gives you the opportunity. If you were able to survive the dream, you can still get your rest in. What's the satyr's name? I feel like we need to name the creatures and the satyr, and I think we got it. Mycena luxterna. I don't want to name a creature that. No DM's going to want to have to say that.
How about deep sleep mushroom?
We could use like the Latin word, like noctu. Trying to tie that into mushrooms as well. Noctumycelium. Noctum.
I know this is off topic, but what color shirt do you think Makala would wear?
This is great watching you actually paint this. I've seen you draw, like we've sat around and drawn before, but like to watch you paint, it's really cool.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Coming along.
The soporific comes from Latin sopo, which means deep sleep.
What about mychomares? Like mycelium, mychomares. They're nightmares. Kind of combines the two words. Mychomare.
I like that.
That's an option. I don't know too much about satyr names. Do satyrs have like a surname, or are they just, like Fred?
It may depend on the satyr. Usually they're kind of legendaries.
Yeah, I feel like they could be part of a family, or they could just be, wild ones that kind of have a little nook somewhere in the bottom of a tree where they sleep at night, and then they come out and they cause their chaos. And
it's just what they do.
there's such great depths to that painting too. Like the darker it gets there and the shadows and stuff like that. That looks great. I always wanted Makala's melons to be a moral decision, because they heal you, but they're also these living little creatures that they're cunning. They're cute little melons. Yeah.
That's why Xantex couldn't eat his.
Yeah.
Being a vegan, he just can't bring himself to it.
He's got to have a legendary name. If he's this satyr that is responsible, is it one satyr? I would assume it's one satyr. I feel like this is the one guy. He's just following around parties, dropping these, spores wherever he goes. Or we could even we could give him a title like Togar the Wise or something like that. You know what I mean? It could be the Dream Bender, something the Dream Bender, or the Dream Sucker, or the Dream. I don't know.
Beef. Thief. Like beef, but with a TH.
Thief. Ah.
Dream beef.
Ooh, Remy, or Rem Sleep, R-E-M.
Remy the Dream Thief.
Maybe his name's just Rem.
Yeah, that's cool, because I like that as short, like Rem.
Yeah.
Like those that know him, which he has very few friends, I would imagine. Maybe a few deer, maybe a bear, a raccoon. They know him as Rem, but he's Remy, the Dream Thief.
Remy Kruger.
Remy.
Yeah, I was trying to think of give him a K last name or something.
I feel like this guy is a very charismatic satyr too. So if you run into him, he's going to try to talk himself out of whatever he can.
Yeah, the satyrs are from Greek mythology, so maybe that'll be kind of Greek sounding, like Remikus.
Remikus. I like that.
Remilos.
Remilos. That feels more sleep-like, more dream-like to me for whatever reason. Yeah.
Remilos or Remlos. Is he more mischievous, or is he diabolical?
So if maybe if day breaks, he just goes back to whatever dimension he came from. And if you haven't been released, you'll be free then, but without rest, of course.
When the dawn rises, so he disappears.
That might be kind of cruel, but he could make it seem like you're on your adventure, and then you get reset back.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. Yes. Yeah, you could you could have a whole night of playing session and then like boom, just spring it on them at the end of the night. Yeah.
So I'll wake up again, and you hear this weird cackling in the dark as dawn breaks.
Oh God, could you imagine that?
Oh, there'd be a revolt. I think.
If you tell the party that, like, let's say my character is on watch, and you say that you're at the next dawn, and the party leaves, but Riven disappears, and so then you take me to another channel, and you tell me what's going on with all these little mushrooms. I mean, you'd have to bounce back and forth, and the party just thinks that they have to continue on without you.
Or do they even wake up? Are they stuck in the slumber? You know what I mean? Like maybe they do not wake up and they're continuing in their mind the next day. Maybe they don't see that you're not present. Anybody who isn't sucked into this dream state isn't present as they continue on their journey. It's going to make a bitch for a DM, but it's also really cool.
I mean, because how would you play the two parts with a person that doesn't fall asleep and those that do?
And how do you wake up a party member that, like, let's say you are the one at watch. You're like, what the hell are they doing? I can't wake them up. What is it that wakes them up? Is there something that could wake them up?
You know, it could be kind of fun though if you make the party think that they did wake up.
Yeah.
And somebody disappears. You would have to use. That would be hard to do it in person, but with comms, you bring them into another channel and you bounce back and forth. They think they're in an encounter in the real game. And as you can wake people up, they go to the next channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, because if my character wakes something up, then as a round goes, you say, oh, Wolf just disappeared. And then you bring him to the channel. And then now Wolf and I would be sitting there trying to stop these things or get our party awake.
It's perfect for VTT. Yeah, it'd be tough to do in person, but for VTT, it'd be great.
Okay, so we got the mushrooms. Now we just need what is in the dream.
I feel like it's got to be a creature that does a lot of regenning, something that can stay around long enough so that for the DM and the gameplay perspective of things to be able to allow things to be going on the inside and the outside.
Would this be more of a round-based encounter, not as much as killing them off or survive so many rounds? Or
maybe it's something like that where like it doesn't necessarily have to kill something, you just have to survive long enough or solve something, maybe even. That would be an interesting twist to put on this creature, that you get pulled into this dream state, you fully feel like you're, consciously aware of who you are and where your surroundings are, but something isn't right and you have to fix that before you can wake up. Maybe it's not a combative type deal. That's tough though, because that means that every time you use these creatures, you have to come up with a different scenario, I would imagine. But it does play into the whole satyr's game. You know what I mean? If the satyr is the one that's planting the spores, he wants you to have a bad night's sleep. He's going to put you in this dreamlike state and get you to try to solve some kind of wild puzzle rather than defeat a monster you could defeat in, 6 or 7 rounds and just pop out of it. Like, I don't know. It could go either way. Like, this is already the idea of a creature that pulls you into dreamlike state is very original. You're expecting combat will get you out of it, but what if it is something else? What if, is that more interesting, or is that too much for a DM to have to deal with?
Yeah, you really got to think about how's it going to play out. You don't want it to be too confusing.
Some might not be into that. People who don't run as role play
Maybe it's for every mushroom on the outside, there's a creature on the inside. So maybe when you defeat a mushroom, all of a sudden one of them will just explode and out of nowhere. Everybody in the party has to do a dex save.
It can be killed from the inside of the dream state or the outside. So the creature outside that's causing the creature on the inside to do battle with someone, after it's defeated, the outside mushroom then explodes, and that's one less.
Maybe the party that's in the dream's not really killing. You got to fight them, fend them off, but it's up to the person on the outside to actually kill them off.
And you wonder why they're not dying. You're fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and hacking away at them. You're like, this is crazy. This is a mushroom. It should be dead by now. But until someone on the outside world, the only problem with that is if everyone's on the inside.
Maybe you should have to defeat him.
Then you got to figure out. You realize that there's an alternate. There's got to be something that'll release you.
At what point do you become aware of the fact that you're in the dream state? Like, is it like round one, you're like, whoa, what the hell is going on here? Or is it like, something's not right. Something feels weird here. Maybe each round you make a constitution save or an intelligence save. And when you make that save, you realize that you're in a dreamlike state. Not that it helps you anyway, but you know that you're not in the real world.
But maybe part of this thing is when you get hit in the dream world, you feel it. It feels real. It's very lucid.
Yeah, I think the mental effect on you is physically informing your body you just received a strike or whatever. So dying in the dreamlike state, though, the real stakes involved there is that you don't get a long rest. If you die, you wake up and you are unrested for the night. You're not dead. The party that's in the dreamlike state should wake up around the camp that they went to sleep at. Just these creatures are here now. Maybe they should just be larger versions of the ones that are on the outside.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more savage. They're willing to engage in hand-to-hand combat rather than, the spears and blowguns and stuff like that.
It's a big-ass mushroom with a battle axe and great sword. Yeah, maybe you just got to keep chopping away at these mushrooms in your dream until you defeat them or you are defeated.
So if you defeat them, are you able to get a good night's sleep?
I would say if you survive the dream.
Yeah, I think so
by
too.
the end.
Yep.
I think the dream should have so many rounds, a limited round. So you either kill them all off or you survive the night.
These are the creatures that I love, though. Yeah. Creatures like the manatus that we came up with in this that are just totally out of the blue, total different creatures that you want to do a quick stat check on them. We already determined Dex was 20.
Starting with the beginning strength, they wouldn't be that strong.
No.
But they're dexterous.
Dexterous.
And very fast. So I think they should have maybe a bonus on their speed. Instead of 30, maybe 40.
Yeah.
I think it'd be hilarious as little mushrooms running around and jumping around.
Yeah, I do. It really paints a picture of a battle. And I love seeing a battle play out where, maybe there's 20 of them and they're all over this one character and he's trying to scrape them off and throw them and smash them and squish them. And
we're going to have proficiency in acrobatics and athletics.
I would say strength based on their physiology. And, it should be normal for them. Maybe an 8 or a 10.
8. I think it should be negative.
I mean, we can go 6.
Yeah, because I don't need a lot of speed.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go 6.
Not wielding a sword or anything, yeah.
Dexterity is a 20. Constitution.
I would think they have a strong constitution.
Yeah. 16?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Now is the fun stuff. The intelligence, the charisma, and wisdom. What? How wise, smart, and influential are these?
Well, the more mischievous than intelligent. Being mischievous, that'd be more of a wisdom thing.
I think so, yeah.
Because intelligence that's more like book learning.
Yeah, they're not too smart.
They're not intelligent, but I think they're pretty wise.
I'll give them an intelligence of 8 and then a wisdom of 12, 14.
12? Yeah, I was thinking 12.
Yeah, 12, okay. Charisma. How charismatic are these little creatures?
Well, I think they'd be pretty damn cute.
Oh, yeah. If you just stumbled across these little fuckers and they're just coming up to you dancing and singing like they're trying to lure you into their trap, I feel like maybe it's
14.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 14 or 16, 14.
And their AC is just going to be a 15, or do we want to give them a bonus because they're quick little dickens?
Yeah.
Maybe bring it up to a 17. Maybe the natural armor class of these creatures have a +2, or is that too high because we're not aiming for a huge, a high level party?
Well, part of the fun is that whoever's awake is trying to stomp on these damn things.
I do too. Yeah, they got to be tough. Tough to squish.
I was sitting at 20 or more.
All right, let's give them a 20. That gives them +5 on top of their natural dexterity and base armor class. Yeah, it prolongs the combat and makes it silly, and it's a creature that if a party needs a moment of laughter or whatever, it's nice to interject into it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that kind of could be fun with the rest of the party listening to what the person that's awake has to deal with.
Yeah.
Maybe the DM could kind of allude to the fact that you're better off trying to stomp on these things instead of trying to hit them with the weapon. Because if somebody is prone, you get the disadvantage with a ranged weapon. Since they're so small and on the ground, would it be a disadvantage using a weapon?
Yep. Disadvantage on
any attack with a weapon.
I can see one like running in front of you and standing there like you need like there's like a kamikaze. Try to stomp on him. It's like
Yeah.
Or maybe throwing rocks at them, beating them with a rock.
Yeah, I feel like they have like some kind of a sim language that a DM could kind of be like, some kind of crazy, wacky language that they're screaming at the party. Nobody knows what they're speaking. Maybe druids could.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if a druid could talk its way out of the dreamlike state and be like, hey, listen, I get what's going on here. I understand, let's work this out.
How about do a lucid check? So, if you do a check and then you realize you become lucid, it becomes a lucid dream and you know it's a dream, but you don't have as much control of it.
But at least you're in a dream at that point. Yep.
Yeah, maybe you can find a way to wake yourself up.
maybe that's it. Once you realize that you regain.
Maybe each round you do a Constitution saving throw for a lucid check, and then once you pass that, then you try to wake yourself up by doing another Constitution check.
You could get advantage on the first roll because you are aware of it at that point, and then the second roll would be just a normal roll.
It's kind of like doing a death save. You got to get so many before it. What if you do a check? If you fail it, you're at -1. Then you keep going minus as you succeed. If you add to that one. So you're trying to get to like a total of maybe 2. But
what if we do it like a death roll? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get 3 one way or the other.
Ooh.
You're locked in like until the end of the night. You failed.
If you get 3, and like if you roll a natural 20, then that counts as 2.
Yep.
So I love that. Yeah, do death.
Yeah,
Death
both
saves,
ways.
but these are lucid saves.
Lucid saves. Yeah.
But if you fail, then you're in the dream for the long haul.
Yeah, and then you wake up, but you are just restless. You are exhausted, like you drank all night or something like that.
I like the idea of being forced to do those each time, because that way, as party starts waking up, who's ever left is outnumbered and has a greater chance of dying in the dream, which means you get no long rest.
That's a good idea. Yeah, the less and less people still incorporated into the dream. Yeah,
they need to be able to be defeated. But as your party members start waking up, the odds of whoever's left, their odds of them surviving it is going to be less.
What a fascinating creature this is. Like, how often have you ever, in all the games you've ever played, run into something like this? It's so unique, so different. Mychomares, I guess that's what we're leaning with right now, but that might get refined as time progresses, I would think.
Yeah.
It's a nice starting position.
Artie will have some kind of artwork for us in no time.
Yeah, the more of your art I can incorporate, the better.
I guess we got some good basic stats for the little shrooms.
We got its stats, we got its AC, we got its speed, hit points.
What about if, I guess each attack, it's either what is going to be shooting at you, trying to get you asleep.
Yeah, I would say you use the stats for blowgun, for a spear, any kind of primitive weapon. I think these creatures would use hand-to-hand combat.
There's no other abilities or features.
I can't think of anything else that we would add, because I don't think these are going to be like, they're not going to have a legendary action or anything like that.
No.
I mean, we could do a special type of action or a bonus action or something for these creatures that's a little unique for them. The real power of these creatures is drawing them in and then staying alive on the outside world long enough to keep them tied down. They could have like a Misty Step or something like that.
Yeah, as a reaction.
Yeah. It falls in line perfectly, too, because, like, if feet are coming at them, if they can Misty Step, boom.
Well, maybe every time you get a successful hit, since, all it takes is one stomp, maybe they can roll a reaction. If they succeed, they Misty Step. If they don't, they're squashed.
It's a 50-50 shot at that point, basically.
Yeah.
Does Blink still exist, or is that gone?
What exactly is Blink? I don't know if anybody's ever used.
I always thought that Blink was you at the end of your turn, you randomly popped in within like 30 feet or something like that. But
That's what I thought too. You teleport 30 feet in a random direction. But maybe that's a video game. Misty Step works fine too.
But would the location be random, or do they pick where they want to go?
I think it should be random, 30 feet.
Now, I've seen some ideas where you roll a D4. The 1 is north, 2 is east, 3 is south, 4 is west.
Yeah, we could do it that way. I would say they would get a reaction where they randomly move in one of a D4 direction, or you could do a D8, so that way you could conclude northeast. Yeah, and that determines where they end up, because that's going to get frustrating for the player that's trying to squish them.
Which is part of the fun. I think this is something that's more of a fun encounter.
It is,
It's more like a comic relief. That's why I think it'd be fun if the rest of the party, you don't go into separate rooms. They have to see what this person's got to deal with it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I mean, this is just for fun. I mean, it's a fun thing.
Yeah, it
It's
can't
not
kill
going to
you.
kill anybody. It's just going to give you a shitty night's sleep if you fail.
Perfect for the DM that wants to have, an interesting the next day after this rest. So.
And you could also maybe give them a head fog or something the next morning, to where not only do they not get to do a long rest, but they kind of have disadvantage on everything.
Or you could give them a layer of exhaustion.
I don't know. Nobody ever uses that. I know Mike wants to start incorporating that, but it's never come up.
Oh, you just wait a few games, my friend. You just wait.
Yeah, this could make DMs start bringing in mechanics of the game that we never use.
Exhaustion is one of those I've been looking at a lot recently. And so level 1, you get a disadvantage on all ability checks. So I think that works out perfectly. Yeah. It's
a great way to bring that in, that mechanic of the game that never seems to be used.
Yeah, I want to use it more just due to the fact that, like I said, if you can't get a full night's rest in or something like that, advantage on ability checks is your first level. Your speed gets halved at second level. Disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws at third level. It just gets harder and harder to survive as a player. And it allows you to kind of I look at some of the monsters sometimes and I'm like, that's a great monster, but they're going to wipe them out because their hit points are 126. That's 2 rounds, 3 rounds of combat.
Yeah.
If you're already exhausted and you're failing a lot of your things, or your speed isn't that's a huge mechanic that I think could be used in games to make it feel a little bit better for players and DMs.
Well, we still really ironed out the creatures that are within the dream. So we're going to say they're bigger forms of the mushroom.
10-foot nasty looking mushroom creatures with axes, and I'm sure some of those weapons too, we could put some interesting little twists on as well. And it's really just a distraction, just keep them awake, keep them from getting a good night's rest.
What if they also have ability where they kick you? They throw you 15 feet.
Yeah, because that way they get away faster too, because that's their main goal, is just keeping these people in the dreamlike state. They just need to keep running, keep moving.
Yeah, so maybe they have clubs instead of real weapons. They got big clubs, and they have 2 attacks. One's swing with the club, and the other's a kick. And if we do make them big, 10 feet or more, if they hit you, you're going to fly. If they do a dex save on a club hit, if you fail it, then that club knocks you 5 feet. And then if he kicks you, your body goes flying 15 feet. And then you take bludgeoning damage. You'd get bludgeoning damage from the kick and also from the landing 15 feet away. How much damage they can with that club? 2d8?
Yeah, I'd say 2d8 plus whatever their strength modifier. Well, they don't have a strength, so yeah, 2d8 -1 maybe.
Kick gives you maybe 2d4 plus 1d4 in the land wherever you hit the ground. So a total of 3d4.
So their goals are to reduce you to your minimum hit points so that you sleep shitty.
Yep. Their stats would be they would have a high strength and I guess a lower dex.
Yeah, in the other world,
lungs.
it would be the opposite. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I wouldn't think they're very intelligent, not much wisdom, basically no charisma. High strength, high constitution.
If they defeat these creatures in the dream realm, do they then get a full, good night's sleep? Or what is the benefit of defeating these creatures?
Yeah, if they defeat them all, you survive the night.
is it something like you get like a premonition, something that might be a difficult choice? You get like a preview of it. You know, I forget what it's called. I think it used to be a thing. It's like a precognition or something.
Yeah, there is something where you can ask a DM a question, they have to answer it. You don't have to give it they can give you a vague.
Yeah, I feel like after they're in their dreamlike state, like really, there's anything that's possible. It's just keeping them in the dreamlike state as long as they can.
So how long are we going to say that the dream state is 10 rounds?
I would say it's based on concentration on the creatures outside, and as they fail and as they fall, the roll to save the constitution each round gets increased as the creatures start to fall outside of the dream.
I would think that once you defeat all the creatures, that everybody wakes up.
Yeah, definitely.
And maybe the mushrooms on the outside just scurry away.
I would say so, yeah, because they're not about being destroyed. They're probably gonna. Although would they, as mushrooms, they have these spores they release. They know they're gonna continue on forever. Do they care so much about their personal existence? Are they that humanoid, or are they?
Once you defeat them all, everybody wakes up, but the ones that are left, they explode and send out spores again. And you got to do dex save, or you go back into another sleep, and you got to go another round.
I like that idea. I think it should be. Yeah, no, I just dig it all together. I think that's great. What is the circumstances of failing it a second time, though? I suppose that's a decision a DM needs to make. But these creatures are cool. I think we've invented a really neat and unique creature again tonight. Making friends with monsters. That's what we're all about. We're going to iron out the details of this creature, and we'll release him at some point in the near future. But I hope you guys have really dug this mushroom sleep killer. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and thank you guys for joining me here tonight. And we will see you on the next episode of Making Friends with Monsters.
Thanks for having us, Jay.
And thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Don't go to sleep with a catch it in your pocket.